Hi everybody. Today I want to talk about the terrorist group called ISIL. This group has ran over many parts of Iraq and Syria, and in doing so they have killed a lot of civilians in the most horrific way possible. Many of us already know this, but the question is who pays for them and for what purpose? Well, the US and its allies, primarily Saudi Arabia, has trained and financed these people. The question is for what purpose? One explanation might be that they have financed them in order to have them overthrow the Assad regime, which is a very plausible explanation, and also it would not be the first time the US and its allies have financed a terrorist group which later turned on them. But however plausible this explanation may be, there is actually another scenario. And that is that they might have financed these people for the sake of creating more chaos and further destabilizing the region in order to justify a military intervention, which we now are seeing. You don't have to look far back to try to make sense out of this scenario. Remember about a year ago when the US wanted to do some limited strikes on Syria? Well, as much as they wanted that, they weren't able to push that through. There was massive public outrage against this. The public did not want it. All the polls showed that. And also, it was to the point where people were storming John Kerry's apartment, and a man even rightfully called John McCain a traitor to his face. And this in combination with the fact that the British Parliament voted no, which means that a key ally would not be a part of the coalition that would bomb Syria at that time. And also the fact that Russia wouldn't budge. These factors together made the US back down. But you fast forward a year later, after the conquests of this terror group called ISIL, and the horrific crimes they've committed, where they've beheaded many different people, many civilians, and they've beheaded even 2 journalists. And suddenly the public opinion is not nearly as opposed to war as it was just a year ago. And you don't see any parliaments voting no for the war either. So throughout all this, it worked in the favor of the US establishment, because now they're able to sell their military intervention, and it's going on full blast. Every other week you have some new nation deciding that they're going to join the coalition and start bombing. So that's why I believe that they created this terror group in its current form as a problem reaction solution. The problem, of course, being that ISIL is going around and mass murdering civilians and anybody who gets in their way. And eventually would get to the point where they would probably kill the US troops still stationed in Iraq. The reaction, of course, being that the public outrage over the crimes committed by this group, and also the fact that I don't think the US government wants to have them run over Iraq, and then which would mean that they would lose the puppet regime they have in Iraq, and the terror group would be taken over instead, a terror group which they would no longer control. And the solution, well, it's the military intervention we're seeing right now. Now we've gone in a year from the US not being able to push through their war to having a massive military coalition that's going on right now, where new nations are joining. Every other day you have some new nation that decides to join. So at the end of the day, regardless of the chaos created there, it actually worked in the favor of the US establishment. That's why I believe it to be the latter option, a problem reaction solution. Anyway, that's what I got to say about that. Thanks for watching. I posted a link with my blog article on this in the description below. Thanks for watching.